Fantasy baseball draft season is heating up, so it's time to give you some names to help you crush your draft. Obviously, one of the keys to a good fantasy baseball draft is getting positional values, guys who way outproduce their average draft position or ADP. So today I'm going to start giving you some of my favorite hitter values in the 2024 fantasy baseball drafts. We'll start with Padres shortstop Xander Bogaerts, who's going around pick 110 over the last 3 weeks. Yes, Bogaerts did see his average dip a little bit when he left Fenway Park, but he still hit .285 in San Diego last year, and the new stolen base rules saw him steal 19 bases. So Bogaerts could be a 20-homer, 20-steal player, and even though the Padres are without Juan Soto, they still have a pretty strong top half of that lineup, so I think Bogaerts will help you in counting stats, and it will way outproduce his 110 ADP. If you miss out on first baseman, I love Josh Naylor, who's going to pick 140 over the last 2 weeks. Josh Naylor hit over 300 last year and stole 10 bases, and that's great from a first base target because stolen bases are up, so you need to make sure you're not rostering too many guys who steal no bases. Yes, Josh Naylor doesn't have incredible max exit velocities, but he's somebody that can hit the ball out of the park. He has hit too many ground balls in the past, but Cleveland is coming into spring training and they're telling their guys to pull and lift the ball a little bit more, even if that means swinging and missing. So while Naylor may not hit over 300 again, he does have the power to push for 20-25 home runs if this new approach sticks, and I think that's really solid value going where he's going in drafts. If you're in a one-catcher league, I absolutely love waiting and grabbing Cardinals catcher Willson Contreras, who's going around pick 145 over the last few weeks. Contreras started the year out slow, but he was a guy who signed a lucrative contract in a new team, and that is something that, historically speaking, leads to slow starts as guys press, try and do too much. Then he got caught up in the Cardinals off-field drama, and it was a pretty poor year for the Cardinals overall. However, he still wound up hitting .260 with 20 home runs at the end of the year. He's going to be hitting in the middle of that Cardinals order. He should still get some DH at-bats when he's not catching, so he's going to have more plate appearances than a lot of other catchers. And I think that .260 average of 20 home runs is pretty much locked in given his past history of success. In a better lineup, you're going to get more counting stats. And so I really think that Willson Contreras is being way underdrafted in fantasy leagues right now. Cubs outfielder Happ should be going way higher than pick 170, which is where he's going over the past couple of weeks. Happ built a reputation early in his career as a guy with too much swing and miss in his game, but he has improved his strikeout rates in each of the last 2 years. Last year, he set a career high in walk rate, and his swinging strike rates are now slightly better than league average, so he's not really a swing and miss guy. He doesn't hit tons of pulled fly balls, but when he does, he hits pulled fly balls at 99 miles per hour. That is a really good average exit velocity, which tells us that he could get to more power with a little bit more of a change in approach to be more pull happy. Even if he doesn't do that, this is a guy that could push for 25 home runs and 15 steals in a really strong Cubs lineup, and I think that's going to produce way more value than a guy going pick 170 in drafts. Pirates third baseman Krien Hayes is going pick 180 over the last few weeks. That's a 15th round pick in 12-team leagues. We have long wanted Krien Hayes to pull the ball and lift the ball more. Well, he did it last year. After coming back from injury, he missed all of July. He hit .299 with 10 home runs in 49 games in the second half of the year. He changed his stance to add a toe tap. He started pulling and lifting the ball a little bit more, and he's been doing that in spring training as well and crushing the ball with really high average exit velocities. I do think that's going to carry over. He's locked into a middle of the order lineup spot in Pittsburgh. This is a guy who could be a .270 hitter with 10 to 15 stolen bases. So if he can now push 20 home runs, which I think he has the batted ball quality to do, he's going to way outproduce that 15th round ADP. Going around pick 215 is Twins second baseman Edouard Julian, who is a great target if you want to wait on second base. The trade of Jorge Polanco has given Julian a full-time job, and he has some of the best plate discipline in all Major League Baseball. Yes, his strikeout rate was high last year, but a lot of that had to do with called strikes, not swings and misses, so he could be a little bit more aggressive and reduce that strikeout rate pretty easily. He did have a 13% barrel rate last year, hits the ball really hard, and should be hitting at the top of the Twins lineup. No, he's not going to give you stolen bases, but again, he's going outside of the top 200, so you're probably going to get a good batting average and power from somebody who's going to start pretty much every game against right-handed pitching and will mix in against lefties. So I think that he's set for almost 500 or more plate appearances this year, and he's going to crush his current ADP. Pirates catcher outfielder Henry Davis is going pick 240 over the last few weeks. He was not great last year in his rookie debut. However, he did have a 7% barrel rate, and he did have 110 max exit velocity, so the batted ball quality was pretty good. Then he went to driveline in the offseason to unlock more power and has been showing that in spring training so far, looking really, really good. The Pirates have said that he's going to catch. He is pushing to be their starting catcher, which means even though he only has outfield eligibility in most formats, he's going to gain catcher eligibility really fast. And this is somebody who could push for 20 home runs, maybe a 240, 250 average, but 20 home runs playing near every day in the Pirates lineup. That's going to give you really great production from your catcher spot. You just need to draft somebody to plug in for maybe the first 2 weeks of the season, and then you can move Davis into that catcher spot and reap the benefits. I wrote about Parker Meadows when I covered this year's Josh Lowe. The Tigers outfielder is going around pick 280, which is the 24th round in 12-team drafts. He wasn't great last year, but the younger brother of Austin Meadows is somebody who has a lot of raw tools. He has 90th percentile sprint speed. He stole 27 bases in 30 attempts between AAA and the majors last year. So he's somebody that is going to run. He has elite zone contact. So I think he should sport a much higher batting average than he did before. He should hit near the top of the order for the Tigers against right-handed pitching. I think that this is a Tigers lineup that's getting sneaky good. There will be some improvement there. I think Meadows is maybe just a 15-homer guy, but he could hit 260. He could steal 20-plus bases in a near everyday role. And so I really like that value going this late in drafts. Lastly, if you wait on your middle infield spot, Angels shortstop Zack Netto is going pick 320, and he is one of my favorite late round picks at any position in 2024 fantasy baseball drafts. The 22-year-old was the 13th overall pick in the 2022 MLB draft, and he made his debut already last year despite playing under 50 games in the minor leagues. He had a 9% barrel rate in the major leagues. He had a 32% hard hit rate in the minors. So this is a guy who makes a lot of hard contact and has been doing that in the spring as well. He is not slap happy. He's somebody who will pull and lift the ball and drive the ball out of the park. On pulled fly balls, he had the same average exit velocity as Josh Bell and Julio Rodriguez last year. So there is some pop there that he can unlock. I think this is a guy who's going to hit 260. I think that he could push for 20 home runs, 10 stolen bases. The only concern is he's going to start the year hitting at the bottom of the Angels lineup, but I would not be surprised if he's hitting in the top of the lineup for the second half of the year, and he's going to give you great production going outside of the top 300.